hello. Thank you all for coming. All right, good to go? Yeah. All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Carl Fluke, and today I want to talk about Base and our product, Smart Wallet. So the agenda today is I want to give a quick highlight to just what is account abstraction in general and what is 4337. So most of the time when I get questions about Smart Wallet or account abstraction in general, it comes down to some of this introduction points. So I always like to do a one-on-one on that. And then I want to talk about Smart Wallet, which was an upgrade to our Coinbase wallet to a V4 that now has a passkey wallet built in. And then lastly, what updates to Base are very relevant to this that happened 2 or 3 days ago. So first, when I say account abstraction here, I am following the Ethereum definition, which is account abstraction is a way to solve these problems, and they have like a list of 6 of them, but they're just truly talking about an EOA. That seed phrases are hard, and all the intricacies around that. To solve the problems of that by allowing more users flexible security and better user experience. So I'm talking essentially, when I say account abstraction, I'm talking about an actual smart contract wallet and switching signature validation to not only being an EOA, but other types of keys. So why are we doing this is that I'm sure all of us today have gone through this top row is you go to a dApp, it says connect your wallet. You may have one or not. If you don't, go find one. Then you connect a wallet. You have to have gas to be able to do something, and then you can interact. And with our smart wallet, we can skip all those steps and directly create a passkey-based wallet in that dApp and skip all of this redirects 2 or 3 times. Okay, so to talk high level of 4337, actually I want to poll, how many people in here know what a bundler does? Okay, and what about a paymaster? All right, good. Okay, then I'm glad I'm going over this. All right, so in 4337 world, you don't have transactions, you have user operations. There's only like 4 fields that are different, and I'll show a quick version of that. Next, you have a bundler, which its main job is to take a group of user operations and batch them into a single transaction, and then it loops through them and does all the user operations in that batch. You have an entry point, which this is shared across all smart contract wallets. That's probably least important in here. After that, you have the actual smart contract contract account, and that is what you deploy and what stores your funds and what has logic for additional security checks or if it should approve a transaction or not. And then I'm skipping over aggregators and I'm going to paymasters. So paymaster is a way that you can add a signature to have another contract pay for your transaction. They could pay for it only for the gas fee, or they could pay for the entire transaction. And so I'm going to go into all of these a little bit. But first, like, why are we doing this is it can create a simpler UX. One of the main things I like is multi-call. So in user operations, you can do multiple in a single transaction. So like when I go to a DeFi app and I want to do a liquidity position, I have to go to token A and approve an amount, a token B and approve an amount, and then do my liquidity position. So I'm doing 3 separate transactions and waiting for all 3 of them to complete. With multi-call, you can actually stack up user operations and it's one user signature. So the UX for that can be drastically better. As I mentioned, you can simplify gas, so it doesn't have to be the native token. It could be an ERC20. You can upgrade that smart contract for your users if you're using a contract proxy. You as a developer, if you're using a smart contract like Smart Wallet or Safe or other, they more or less will handle this for you. So just know that some upgrades are built in. And then there's block level security checks. Essentially, for the actual flow, you'll see that there's a user operation. You have a list of these. They go into a bundler mempool. That bundler submits a group of user ops. It loops through a validation phase, and it loops through an execution phase. The paymaster is completely optional. If the paymaster is involved, then during the execution loop, it'll pull gas or the fee out of the paymaster. All right, so that's high level, the flow of 4337. There's a lot of complexity added there, and so we'll talk a little bit about like why is that better. So on the left, your guys' left side, yes. This is a normal 1559 transaction. It has max priority fee per gas. So on the right here, the only addition that we also have is there's a verification gas limit, a pre-verification gas. Both of these are used for the bundler. There's an init code. So that is the code that deploys your smart wallet. And there's paymaster and data. So this is the field that you add to say, hey, this paymaster is going to pay for my transaction. So that's the additional complexity on a user op versus a transaction. Okay, and the bundler. So what does the bundler do? It collects a list of user operations. It validates them. So it does nonce checks, it does gas payment, it does simulation. It sees how much gas this user op is going to cost. It then also, in the bundle, makes sure that all these user ops can play nice to each other. So there's no dependent user operations on top of each other. It also does some fancy things with like deployment factories and stuff like that. And then lastly, it has like a reputation system to avoid poisoning of bad user ops. All right, I'm going fast here just so that we can talk about Smart Wallet and see the demo. All right, so Paymaster. Paymaster is completely optional. So before you actually send your user op to the bundler, you can add a Paymaster field to pay for the gas or the whole transaction. And so some of these policies, the main reason is like cover new users or to have a subscription service to where like maybe when I enter into a DAO, 5 of my votes a month are for free. And that's just part of like the DAO's business model of making it easier for new users to vote, is that we'll cover the gas for your votes because you paid for like joining. So some examples of this are you can do a certain number of user operations, you could do like a total cost per time frame, you can use ERC20s, you could also do stuff completely off-chain. So this is something that I've seen on Base a few times, is people doing like a subscription service where it's $20 a month and they just pay for your gas and they give you other benefits on-chain. So it's a cool mix of doing an off-chain and on-chain use case. Okay, so Smart Wallet. So Coinbase, we've had a Chrome extension and a mobile app for a few years now. We've released a V4 of the SDK a month or so ago, and in that it includes a passkey wallet. So this is meant to drastically improve onboarding and kind of show, we wrapped all that complexity of 4337 into you as a developer can do the same transaction flow you're used to. If you want to do user ops, you can. But let's see that in action. Does this look, that looks fine. Okay, so this is a demo app. I'm a first-time user. I have a normal connect flow. And as you can see here, I'm given a pop-up to where I'm already signed in. So let me sign out real quick. One more time. So I do not have a wallet yet. So this works with your own flow if you have EOAs and you want to support EOAs. But if you want a passkey wallet, I can just hit create smart wallet here. This is making a passkey, so I can choose to trust Apple Keychain with my passkey. I can choose to do Chrome Profile with my passkey. I can also do like YubiKeys. Or I can just use this device and keep it completely non-custodial. So that's one of my favorite parts of passkeys, is that you truly do have a non-custodial option, and if you want to pass them device to device, there's like a QR code flow. But for sake of ease, you can use Google or Apple. I think Microsoft has a flow too in Edge. But then I do my normal biometrics that people are used to, and that saves my passkey. And now I actually have a working wallet. And so with this wallet now, we won't show the block explorer. Essentially, I can mint transactions, and some differences here in Smart Wallet are that you'll see that I have a sponsored by Base here. So I have a Paymaster. There's a new spec in the Smart Wallet that when you initialize WAGMI or VM, you can say, hey, here's my Paymaster URL, here's the name I want to give it. So if I want this to be like MoshiCam or Uniswap or whatever app, you can specify who is actually paying for my fees. The other big thing I want to call out here is that there is payment methods. I'm not going to run through this because I have to do 2FA and stuff because I'm in a different country. But I can pay with my Coinbase retail balance. So that's the other big benefit, is that if I'm a current Coinbase user, I've never set up a wallet or done stuff on chain, I can actually use my balance in my retail account directly on chain. And I can go through kind of dev docs on that make more sense. But as I sign, this is a passkey, so it's just biometrics. If you're on like iPhone, it'll be Face ID, which a lot of people like. A lot of people have been playing with like the Apple VR, and that you have Face ID in that. Here's my transaction. I'm going to view it on Block Explorer. So just standard, I got an NFT. I didn't pay any gas. The other thing I'll call out, that if you're not used to 4337, is that wallet didn't actually exist until I made that first transaction. So just a little different. Okay, so super high level, that's Smart Wallet. So as I showed, passkeys, cross-device, people are familiar with them. You can now like log into PlayStation, Xbox, and your bank with passkeys. So the normal user can use passkeys, and it's not like setting something new and confusing. My favorite part of this upgrade is that it truly is Wallet v3 switched to Wallet v4. So it's already pretty wide out there. It is a global wallet, so it's not embedded. It's not tied to one domain or one website. It is a pop-up that's tied to keys.coinbase.com. It is also cross-chain, so it's not only on Base. It's on 6 to 8 chains. I'll double check when I pull up the docs. And then I talked about Magic Spend. So right now, Magic Spend is only connect to Coinbase, and then you have a series of what assets you have on exchange. Our goal and what we're actively working on is also using your existing Coinbase payment methods where you could do this as well. So if you have an existing bank or credit card or debit card tied to your Coinbase account, you could actually just use that directly from within the smart wallet interface. So upgrade instructions, you literally just need to upgrade to version 4 of the SDK. I would recommend the newest hotfix. And then I have a few different quick starts put down here. Probably the simplest one is Wilson's here, to where it's very bare bones, and I'll pull it up in a second. There's a slightly more complicated build on chain. Build on chain apps has examples of Mint NFT and a couple other flows. And then Scaffold ETH, if you're trying to do a hackathon project, I've always liked Scaffold ETH. There's also like a Scaffold-base version out there that has a couple other niceties in there. Okay, I'm doing all right in time. I'm going to talk about the Base stuff, and then I'm going to show some code. So the Base Fjord update went live local time. It was like 6 a.m. on Wednesday or Tuesday. Time zones are hard. But the biggest feature that it helped for smart wallets is that it includes a precompile for the WebAuthn passkeys, essentially. So it switched the gas overhead from a smart account from, in this example, 318K to 117. And that was doing just a simple ETH transfer. So it used to be before this update that it was like smart wallets, the transaction fees were prohibitive, and it made it a little more expensive. And now they're much more in line. So I'm super excited that finally came out. Next, there's like a Brotli compression improvement. So data availability cost, it actually is like 10 to 20% in mainnet, which I'm surprised. So gas fees are even less. And then we made the L1 data fee more accurate so that when you do estimations, it's better. And then lastly, something else that Base is doing is we're increasing our target gas per block. We're doing this not necessarily tied to a hard fork, but like every 4 weeks or so, we up that, and that just further increases or reduces gas costs. Okay, so actual smart wallet. I want to show some code examples. So I talked about a couple templates. If you go to smartwallet.dev, which is kind of small here, I can show a QR code here in a second, actually. Let me do that. If that works. This website is kind of like, has a whole bunch of code examples. It shows you how to get started. It shows you 2 different templates. It's a great starting point. I'll give that a second. Okay, cool. So some of these examples, so we have a sign-in with Ethereum. Batch transactions is one of my favorite parts. So just using WAGMI, this walks through that essentially there is a check called use capabilities, and if you have a capabilities called atomic batch, then if you send it a array of transactions, so in this example it has an ABI for SafeMint to an address, and then when you use WAGMI to write contracts, you can actually just give it an array now to say, hey, I now want to call SafeMint on 2 different NFTs, and I can do that in one signature rather than multiple. So this is super simple example. If you're doing a DeFi, this would be a proof token 1, proof token 2, actually do your liquidity. Or anything that involves like a flow of transactions you can do as user ops and have multiple. So for UX, I think that's like a major improvement. Paymaster, this is another one that this example is a little more complicated, but Paymasters, this is an example that shows you can literally program it to be whatever you want it to be. So if I essentially just look at this one, if you want to see it, it checks that you are using Coinbase smart contract or smart wallet, and then it's checking if you're calling a specific function on a specific contract. So like if I only want to approve the mint function on my NFT rather than like all the functions like transfer, then you can do that and you can do fancier things. Okay. Then I got like 2 minutes left, so thanks for coming. Does anybody have questions? Yeah. Any takers?
So I think earlier,
There might be a mic. Maybe not. Go ahead.
so earlier you said you can just choose if you want to pay through crypto or through regular funds?
Through your Coinbase retail funds, yes.
Coinbase retail funds.
Yeah. So if you already have a Coinbase account, Magic Spend, there's like this other capability called auxiliary funds. So essentially, we're just overloading the paymaster to where the paymaster can do more than pay for gas. It can pay for the entire transaction. So what we're doing in that Magic Spend paymaster is we're just holding that balance on your Coinbase account and then doing the transaction or paying for the transaction for you. And so that's one of them of if I'm only a retail user, it skips the whole like getting gas and even just paying for the NFT. You can do it directly from your retail balance.
Yeah, super easy to onboard. So good.
Yeah. What's up?
I think I resolved my question in my own head, but it was about paying for things and understanding like what you're spending on gas versus the transaction for tax purposes.
Yes, so when you actually do the function, it does break them out. So it does tell you, hey, here's the network fee. And this one I don't think has an additional fee. Otherwise, it would have another line at the top here. Or it may just not be big enough. Yeah, I think this one's just because it's free. All right. I think we're good on time. Thank you all for coming. Greatly appreciate it.